Welcome to GoldBoys Live, presented by Pickett Sports Sleeper Picks. It's just me and Josh hanging out. You guys in the chat, feel free to hit us up with your questions, your comments, troll us, make fun of us, throw us out some questions, whatever you want. Crazy game last night, Josh. The Bills lose. They just fired their coordinator, Dorsey, their offensive coordinator. It's funny. He puts together what looked like a game-winning drive, and before you know it, well, his defense gives him a field goal, so he's fired. Very strange. There's been weird vibes around Buffalo for a while now. And we can get into it. I guess we'll just start with this. Are they dead? We'll get into some of their odds, make the playoffs, division. Is this team done? Are they completely finished?
I lean no. But I don't really have much to go on to say why things would turn around for them when you look at what their defense has looked like since losing Milano and everybody else. Even the week before, I think Milano went down in week 5, and week 4 is when they lost the D-back who
White.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, it's not like there's optimism that should be had. So I'm not betting any of like this. Let me get the Bills while they're down for good money to like make the playoffs and make a comeback. Like I'm not doing any of that. Are you?
Just go over the odds here. I'm not. And we should mention Joe Brady takes over as offensive coordinator. Remember a few years ago, he was like the hot new
Yeah,
coaching prospect. He just took over. He coached that LSU team with Chase Jefferson
exactly.
and Burrow.
Yep.
He had a good year somewhere in the NFL, I want to say. As I'm looking up the Bills schedule here.
Coordinator.
So yeah, and then he went to Carolina and he kind of got scapegoated by Matt Rule. But the schedule was tough. And here's the thing with Buffalo: 5-5, and they have a schedule. All right, home versus the Jets. Which I mean, should they be laying 7 to anybody? I don't know. But after that, at the Eagles and at the Chiefs, home versus the Cowboys, at the Chargers, home versus the Pats, at the Dolphins. At 5-5 in the AFC, you probably have to get to 10 wins. So 5-5, 7 games left. You probably have to go 5-2 to get in. I don't think 9 wins probably doesn't get you in. Can they really go 5-2 with that schedule at the Eagles, at the Chiefs, home Cowboys, at the Dolphins? You're going to win and winning all your other games at the Chargers. I just don't think 5-2 is doable. They are plus 200 to make the playoffs. They are 30-1 to win it all. They are plus 400 to win the division. None of those are enough for me to bite. Like I get, hey, you put a new coordinator in, they still have the talent off. I don't know. To me, it's a pass. And they're over under. This is crazy. Their season win total. Guess what it is if you haven't looked.
Oh man, their season win total right now with
Adjusted
5-5. Yeah, obviously live season win total 5-5. 3 more wins.
8.5.
Yeah, 4 more wins.
8.5. So they're saying there's a 50-50 chance this team is under 500. It's basically a 500 team. Have 50-50 chance they go over, 50-50 chance they're under,
Sounds
and
right to
barely.
me.
So yeah, none of these numbers are enough for me to play. Is it
Right.
like if it was going to be anything, it would be the super long shot at, hey, they get in the playoffs, I'll take them at 30-1 because I still, who knows, it's wide open. But I don't know. I need more than that, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, and how many teams come out of the AFC East? 1? Like they're like the Bills for a playoff spot are not just competing with the Dolphins, who at least they get to play.
Let's
But
go
I
over
mean,
these teams.
like you got the Ravens and the Steelers and the Browns at 6-3. You know, the Bengals at 5-4.
Right.
Game in
And
hand against
the Bengals already beat them head to head.
Yep.
Um,
Shout out to Damar Hamlin. I think got 3 tackles last year, solidifying
yeah.
his place as comeback player of the year.
That's a good one to bring up. I saw once he was active, I saw that number really getting hit. It was like basically even money at I don't know 5 o'clock Eastern
Yeah.
or yeah 6 o'clock 5 6 o'clock Eastern. Then they announced the actives. They announced he'd be playing, and it went to like minus 200. Is that one where all right he just locked it up last night, or we're not ready to go there yet? I just
Yeah.
never know what these awards
It's
are
an
going to
award
be.
that I stay away from. So like I don't know. Because I hear your logic, and if you feel strongly that's how the voters are gonna prioritize things, who's a better candidate?
Right.
Josh Dobbs? That's not a comeback. That's
I
a
agree. Tua would be the one where, hey, that was a serious thing. It's like there's
yeah.
like 2 factors. How serious is the thing you're coming back from,
Mm,
and how good is your comeback? Like how productive are you? And
mm,
like we could say last year, well, Gino didn't really come back for anything. I've always said, we said this yesterday. It's like the best story. What's the best story of the year to me?
mm.
I mean, joke about it. Dying on the field and then playing the next year is
Always
is kind
injury.
of a
Like
story.
what you're saying is it's always the best. The best story is always about an injury of some sort that you're
Yeah.
coming back from, and you cannot come back from a more gruesome injury than dying.
Yes.
If
Dying's a
that's your
bad
point,
one.
right?
Dying's a bad one. Minus 200. I'm not looking to lay
Solid
minus
math.
200. I would assume he
No,
wins though.
no.
I would assume he wins.
I think the thing to consider about the Bills is like put them on a neutral field right now against the Texans. Who are you taking?
Ooh, that's a good question. and
That's who you're going
the
up
line's
against.
a pick 'em.
Mhm.
I mean, it feels so recency biased to like, give me Houston, Bills
Sure.
lost, Houston won, Houston good, Buffalo bad. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where Houston lost to Carolina, which gets even harder to believe a couple weeks later. Like, wait, yeah, they lost to that team.
They're getting
Oof.
healthier is the thing. Like, that's the thing
Yeah,
about the Texans that you have that going for you, and they were pretty unhealthy, like, no offensive line against the Panthers.
I'd probably say the Texans, but I know I'm being a prisoner of the moment. Who would you
Yeah,
pick?
me too, but I'm also just remembering CJ Stroud throwing on literally anybody he wants.
Right.
He made his first mistake of the season last game, throwing an
And
interception.
Dell's a good player too. Dell's an underrated player.
Noah
Dell's
Brown had 7 receptions for 172
I always
yards.
liked him. I
Yeah.
always kind of
It's
liked
a
him.
massive target. Yeah, no, they're
We'll get
they're
to
they're good
NBA
stuff.
here in a minute.
Yeah.
Anything else NFL for this week you're looking at? Let's see. Raven.
I told you I'm blindly hitting. I don't even think it's that blind. I'm hitting the Bengals Ravens under at 46. Do you think it climbs potentially? It would go up before it went down, no? Or are people starting to
No, I
like,
think it would go down. This under trend is so public, is so well
yeah,
known that, and people are, like we said, people have recency bias, but people are also like it's positive reinforcement. I bet it wins. I bet it again, it wins. People are
yeah,
just going to keep betting it, and the people that
yeah.
are betting it have a little extra money in their pocket. They're not going to get off this. So I'm worried about jumping on this too late. I like the under last night, not because of the trend, just because I was like, I think Buffalo's gonna. I
That's
think
where I'm at with this
Denver
game
tries to score
too.
the game down. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Like, I don't love the Bengals defense, but I do like the Steelers defense, and I do like that the Steelers offense is the weakest part of its team.
right.
And I think I don't know what happened last week with Burrow. I mean, I guess the Texans got a little bit healthier along the defensive end or the defensive front, but like I don't know. That was a bit of an anomaly from a team that had been carving up defenses that were better than that one.
Yeah, and that's we have a great Thursday night game, a great Monday night game. So Bengals Ravens for all the crap we get on Thursday, Bengals Ravens Thursday night is a pretty good one. Lines 3.5, totals 46. So Baltimore laying 3.5 at home. This is kind of I don't want to say this is the Bengals season, but they're 0-2 in division. They're 1-4 in conference. They really can't afford to keep losing
Mhm.
these division games. Like I said, you got to get to probably 10 wins to get in the AFC. And if you're not going to have tiebreakers, you definitely need to get to 10, I would say. And this is just like I don't know that they can afford to lose this game. So
Bengals
fascinating
need it.
game, fun game. It's funny. This time last week, like they're probably headed back to the Super Bowl, going to make a deep run. They're a sleeper to win it all, and for good reason. And now you look, hey, if you lose this, you're 5-5, and you're
Yeah.
kind of dead in the division. You really are dead in the division because this would put Baltimore at 8-3. You'd
Yep.
basically be 4 games out of division. You can't win the division if you lose this game. So fun
They're
game. I would lean towards. I like the Bengals plus the 3.5 here. I think it'll be a close game.
really interesting. What would scare me is like, why did the Bengals offensive line look like the Giants
Terrible,
offensive line?
terrible.
Why did Burrow look like he was running for his life as often as Johnny DeVito did?
And they got destroyed on defense too. Like Houston really could have had more points. So
Yeah,
yeah, I get it. I just think, hey,
yeah,
division game. There's some
I feel you.
familiarity. Bengals playing for their season.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be shocked, obviously, if the Ravens win, but I could just see this being tied with 4 minutes to go, and hey,
yeah.
somebody wins it on a field goal. A lot of big spreads for this week. Cowboys laying 10.5 against the Panthers. Detroit laying 10 against the Bears. Dolphins laying 12 against the Raiders, and the Dolphins just kill these bad teams. The Commanders of all teams laying 10 to the Giants. And then there's one more big one. 49ers laying 11.5 to the Bucks. How about this? How about a Bucks, Lions, Commanders, Dolphins, all the teams you just mentioned, Cowboys, a 5-team money line parlay pays plus 140. Who screws that one
Jesus,
up?
somebody.
You think so?
Um, I mean, you got 4 home teams, right? And a 2 point and a
Yeah.
2 score dog. Or I'm sorry, two score favorite on the road
Yeah.
with the Cowboys.
Just got to win, though.
Oh, just gotta win, right? Sure, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
They all just got to win.
It's tough to see Bryce Young. I mean, Josh Dobbs, hindsight 2020, he beats the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He's done some miraculous stuff. Don't know that that's in the cards for Bryce Young. So nobody. Fine, fuck it. If I have to pick one team that messes this up for you, though, you got the Dolphins in there. I'm still not a Raiders believer. I was like begging my buddy not to bet on them last weekend. It worked out.
So who fucks it
Um,
up?
you go first.
I don't. I mean,
You're making the bet.
I think I'm making the bet.
I
I mean,
can't see.
the thing that like you could be like, oh, who fucks it up? But the problem is, all it takes is one of them, and hey, turnovers, weird things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could the Giants put in like Matt Barkley and beat the Commanders? Commanders turn it
No.
over or something. The Giants are
No.
dead. I don't know.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
probably
Yeah,
take it a plus
maybe
140.
no. Sam Howell is good, by the way, so no.
Yeah,
I would say maybe the Dolphins, man.
they kill
If
these
it's
bad. They haven't come close to losing one of these bad teams though, and it's a good surface. Like they're just going to score
yeah.
their
It's like you're
35
not
and
even
lose
gonna be
them.
worried if they go down like 14-0 on some random craziness. You'll still just be like, "Well, they'll score that in the next 7 minutes."
Right. Right. It's the good teams, the good defenses they have troubles with. The other big game, Chiefs were down to now 2.5. There were some three, there were some 2.5s. KC laying 2.5 against the Eagles. I hit the under. It's supposed to possibly snow, which I thought that line would go down. So that started to
Hmm.
tick down. Any feel on that game?
My initial lean always when I see a spread of under 3 with
Mahomes.
Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my and at home at Arrowhead, it's gonna be. I think if it snows, under is such a obviously a great play. Like, wow, that's a brilliant statement. But the under, I I I don't know who it favors. Both defenses are really good.
Right.
I think it
Right.
actually neutralizes the KC advantage of any kind. To be honest, I think the run game for the Eagles might prevail in that situation more so than the Chiefs throwing dink and dunk with Rashi Rice and Travis Kelsey.
It's a better game to watch than it is to bet, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty 50-50, man. I mean, I guess if you can maybe tease the Eagles
Tuesday
up to
Eagles to
eight and a
eight and a
half.
half. That yeah, I don't see anybody winning this game going away. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a Vikings tease up to 8 against the Broncos with a Eagles tease to 8.5, tease those primetime games. That would be, yeah, I could certainly understand.
What's the general wisdom around that teasing up to an 8.5 number?
Just because you go through the 3 and you go through the 7, so
It's good
ideally
enough.
it's always been 3.5, 7.5. But with teams, here's what it is: teams more and more are down 14. They get the touchdown, they go for 2 to get it to 6 for whatever that reason is. Where you could just win the game in regulation. So the
Mm,
8 is becoming more of a key number. So
yeah,
the eight and a
agreed.
half is a key number. 7.5 still key, but eight and a
Even the
half.
6.5 for that reason, like you're saying, has become a pretty big number.
Right,
There was
right.
3 6.5s last week. Took the dog on all of them, but yeah, there was 3 6.5s last week that were similar situation.
Yep. I mean, same thinking where if you go for 2 now, you're at the 6 instead of the 7 or the 8. So yeah,
Yeah.
6s and 8s are more prevalent than usual. All right, NBA. Anything that happened last night? Any big picture takeaways? Anything on the card tonight? We got Pacers, Sixers, Heat, Hornets. Heat have played well recently. Hawks, Pistons, Spurs against OKC. That should be fun. Wemby versus
In
Chet.
season tourney, did you say that?
I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't. So
in
this is
season tourney.
all these games are in season tourney games.
Yeah,
Okay.
my buddy texted me and he goes, "Do you think that if someone like myself, who's in the top like fifth percentile of like people who how many NBA games I watch, and I had no freaking clue
Yeah.
that it was the in season tourney, do you think they're marketing it well enough?"
Right. Ooh, Clippers Nuggets. This is an interesting one.
It
Nuggets only
could
laying
be.
4.5. Why am I like? What is the
I've
trap here?
been trying. I've been trying to find why it's 4.5. I hit it at 6. I hit it at 4.5. I played an alt of nine and
You
a
laid
half.
the points.
Yeah, I just yeah. No, yeah, I'm betting on the Nuggets like
I mean,
all day,
it's
every
no
day.
Murray, right?
Yeah, fine.
But
Reggie Jackson's been a really fine substitute. The defense when Harden and Westbrook are on the floor together, the defensive rating I believe is 128.5. Might be even worse. Might be 136. It's putrid. And I don't know why you think going to Denver and playing the best home team who's 50-8 in its last since last season at home. Why would you think that
right.
what? 50-8.
Yeah, I might have to
How is that a
lay
get
here.
right situation? It's insane. I already hit that. I parlayed their money line with the 76ers against the Pacers because JoJo was ruled in, and that's how come that hung at like 5. It was at like 3.5 at one point, 5.5. What's it at now, right? The 76ers? Yeah, they're 5. It's hanging around because the Pacers score
Five.
with them. Yeah, but I still think their money line with the Nuggets. Like I said, hit the Nuggets alt line. If I'm wrong, man, then okay. All of a sudden, the offense figures it out. They're a minus 26 net rating when James Harden's on the floor. The only reason they almost came back to still lose to the Grizzlies is because Harden was off the floor for the whole fourth quarter, and they were plus 17 net rating.
I mean, it would
You're
be
not gonna sit
stupid.
him.
Here the case, I guess, would be for the Clippers. You can't. It'd be stupid to call a must-win game in November. Any game in November a must-win, but this is like at some point a stop the bleeding game. There's some emphasis on the game for the Clippers. Like, hey, we need a win. We need a good performance
Yeah,
here.
but win is
Doesn't mean you're
crazy.
going to get it.
Yeah, win is crazy. What we can say is we can take a moral victory would be wonderful because we haven't even shown a semblance. We just lost to the worst team in the NBA according to the record with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Right.
So what are we talking about? You've lost 4 in a row. There's no like, well, it could change because maybe James Harden will start playing basketball differently, or Russ Westbrook or Kawhi. Like it's been predicted that these 4 guys can't, or 5 guys, 2 of them do the same thing, the other 2 do the same thing. What what are we
Right.
talking about? So if I'm wrong because like all of a sudden something clicks on offense, I'll be a little bit more cautious going forward. But like I've got 2.5 units on various Nuggets bets now, not including the parlay with Milwaukee with Philly.
This is the
So
other one that jumps out to me. Magic getting 3 against the Nets. Aren't the Magic just the better team?
yeah, I agree. I don't know because the Nets are actually a little bit healthier right now with Nick Claxton back and Cam Johnson back as well. It's a little bit of a stay away for me. I agree, except for Brooklyn's a surprise team as well. So at home, Orlando's better at home, and they're not at home. So yeah, it's
The
that one's
other
a bit more of a stay away.
the other
I
game
think it,
that's interesting is
yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Good.
T Wolves Warriors. I want to talk about the T Wolves because just
I'm
listening to
going to it.
podcasts, and I'm listening to more podcasts than I am like watching games where it's like with football, it's hard to just watch everything. But you listen to Zach Lowe, you listen to like Bill Simmons. The T Wolves are kind of the buzz team, and not only is that indicative. Well, I think because those guys are voters. Like Zach Lowe's a voter. I think Simmons is a voter. So you start to think, hey, awards, futures. Like, is there an angle? Should we be playing on something for the T Wolves?
Yeah.
And we can get through this game tonight because it's an interesting one. That the Warriors have shown some concerns. We were just talking before the show, like, hey, they're older, they're small. Should we be playing T Wolves? I don't know, to win the West, to win the division.
And still 25-1.
Chris Finch, Coach of the Year. Is there an angle here
Yeah, that's a
on a
really good call.
futures with something with Minnesota? Is this team are they like a legit title contender?
Depends if you think if they really are the biggest, adversary to the Nuggets, and it's looking more and more every freaking game that they are the biggest challenge in the West to that team, and in the same division. So
Plus 450 division. Nuggets are minus 450. OKC still in that division. Is plus 450 enough to win the division?
Nuggets are a buzzsaw, dude.
Yeah.
At home, I think they win another 36 games at home this year.
Do they get
30,
to the point you have the
35.
Murray injury, he's out another few weeks. Do you get to a
Mhm.
point with Denver where they're not a load management team, but do they have a little boredom sets
Yeah.
in the middle of the year like
Yeah,
last year?
it
I don't
happened
know.
last year, yeah. I without
It
question, it
did.
happens this year. If it happened last year in the season they finally won it and hadn't won one yet, of course it's gonna happen in the season after, in my opinion. It's tough to, like, bank on his temperament never changes, so it's hard. He just didn't play when they went through that streak. He missed, like, 5 out of like, 16 games or something in that month, so, like, it made sense that they were losing. Yeah, that's gonna happen, but, like, I don't see regression for the T Wolves. If you like it at 450, cool. For them to win, to come out of the West, something like that, that's getting a little real. That's really bold. But if you do think that, then fuck the division at that point. They don't need it. Like they
Coach
can
of the
run
year
through the other
Finch is
teams.
9-1. Would he be a candidate? Usually it's like a top 3 or 4 seed. In the NFL you could just get in if you overachieve,
Yeah,
that's enough. I feel like in the NBA it's usually you got to be at least a top 2 or 3 seed. I know Thibodeau won as like a 4 seed, but they kind of overachieved. I
yeah.
don't know. Finch at 9-1, is that worth a shot or you need more?
I
It's like
mean, look,
20
man,
to 1
I
at
think
least.
Minnesota is a good bet for a top 3 seed. I mean, 4 seed for sure, and 3 seed right now in this conference. I really do. Like the Suns, fading the Suns and the Bucks was something I'll keep talking about this year. Not necessarily even like this, they both figure it out, but it's a regular season fade for both those teams. And I don't see them just like skyrocketing up the standings at some point in a really tough Pacific division, which by the way, the Kings are back too. If you want to sleep on them, it's just that they didn't have D Fox. He comes back, they
Yeah.
beat a good Cavs team. And they really handle a good Cavs team, put up 132 on them. So like that's a really crowded top of the West. And the T Wolves are the best defensive freaking team in the league right now. And unless Cat decides to tank things by just becoming a diva, he's bought in on D. And yeah, I'm a believer. I do think you can take the 2 points tonight for them. Like, I think it's going to be a bit of a Slabanaka more than anything because that's really how the T Wolves play, and the Dubs, like, they were relying way too much on Curry, man. Like, beware, just because there's this high usage rate for him, the 31.5 points for him, that's an under before it's an over for me. I didn't play it yet, but he was questionable, whatever. They can't rely on him for that kind of usage, and that's the talk amongst people who cover the team that I know. So, like, I would expect his usage to drop, and it's gonna be a problem for them. I would take the like I said, even just the T-Wolves money line.
Any of these guys a sleeper for a triple double tonight? I'll just read through some of these. People like
Yeah,
these long shots and parlaying them and just
I
come up with
love a
these
triple
lotto.
double guess. Let me see. Let me hear it.
Embiid's 22 to 1.
Nah,
Butler's 55 to 1. I'm just going down the line here. DraftKings, of course, shop around, use Pickett, find the best number. LaMelo is 10 to 1. DeJounte Murray 25 to 1. Giddy 35 to 1. Shea is 55 to 1. Some people call him Shy.
that's his name.
Palo 45 to 1. Ingram 40 to 1. Luca 5 to 1. Zion 30 to 1.
Luka 5-1.
Jokic plus 120, Westbrook
No,
35 to 1. Anything worth a shot
it's
here?
too early in the season to have a plus 120 triple double. Get the hell out of here. Um,
And I don't
Luca,
think you can bet the no on these, right? It's just a one-way market, which kind
you
of
probably can on Luca. I mean, on Luca
on
or
Jokic,
Jokic.
I'm not seeing it though. I'm just seeing
Yeah,
yeses plus 120. I'm not seeing a no.
no, it wouldn't make sense to have
Not
it.
that that'd be a fun bet to sit there and root for, but that might be the
No,
better bet. I don't know. Any of those jump out to you?
the
Embiid
yeah.
22 to
So
1?
the Bam wasn't on there.
No.
Whatever. I mean, because he's going to dominate against the Hornets, I think. Um, yeah, I mean, Luca 5-1. They're playing the Pellies. If Herb Jones is playing, maybe not. But like, does
Yeah.
it really matter? I think Herb Jones is still questionable, so that's why I
Okay.
stayed away from that game too.
And they don't have
Dejounte, if Trey does not play
yeah.
against the Pistons team, much weaker on defense around the perimeter than they are down low. But Jalen Duren also not playing, huge, plenty of rebounds more available now.
By the way, they have odds to be the number 1 seed in the West. Minnesota's also 9 to 1. So I don't know if you think Minnesota, if you like them to win the division plus 450, I feel like maybe 9 to 1 for best record is the better way to go, or Finch 9 to 1 coach of the year is the way to go. Then in the East, Boston minus 190 for the 1 seed, Bucks plus 230, Sixers 4 to 1, Cavs 25 to 1. Heat,
I'm gonna preach a little bit of caution on the T Wolves. We're all really excited about them because Ant is like a really fun player. Like, they're not that far removed from this thing just completely not working. If it's turned around, Finch at 9 to 1, if they're for them to be a top 3 seed, like, I don't think you'll find a better candidate at that point.
yeah.
So 9 to 1 right now, if you believe in them for real, I preach caution. You take a little bit on Finch right now and just like buy into that market to get ahead of it, and you can buy it again at like if it goes down to 4 to 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but like there is a legitimate reality where like everything that has just clicked and worked out stops doing that because of somebody upset they didn't get the ball. They go through a dry spell, which is going to happen for a team like this. So
Okay.
yeah,
In-season tournament, which we mentioned, is going on tonight. Plus 400 for the Celtics, plus 650 for the Nuggets. Bucks are 7 to 1, Sixers are 11 to 1, Lakers are 12 to 1, Warriors are 12 to 1, T Wolves 13 to 1, Mavs 15 to 1. So a lot of short prices here. Hold on, this isn't
you
great.
didn't
Is
say the
it
Thunder.
Thunder are way down there? Thunder
Okay,
100 to 1 still.
that feels irresponsible. Oh no, I'm sorry. They lost two now.
They've
They
got
lost. They
losses.
lost to the
Yeah.
Kings. Yeah, they played
Yeah.
like crap, and Shy missed the one against the Dubs. All right, whatever. My Shy MVP bet at 60 to 1 might be nuked, but
Who else? Who else in here? Like,
I have a plus 750 ticket on the Celtics. I'm happy to hear that. They do have, I think the books are realizing they have the easiest road. Don't make me go through it again because it's random teams in the
no,
division, but like you get what I'm saying. I did that math 2 months ago.
not to make this
Um,
an all T Wolves podcast, but at the T Wolves at 13 to 1 for the in-season, I bet. How about in-season MVP here? Tatum 6 to 1, Jokic 7 to 1, Curry 13 to 1, Giannis is 10, Lucas 12, Lillard's 14 to 1. Lillard hasn't played well from what I've seen. Edwards is 25 to 1, Maxi's 30 to 1. He's played great. Is there anything that pops out to you there?
you said Maxi's 25 to 1,
30 to 1. Edwards is
30 to 1
25 to 1 for in-season MVP.
in season MVP. Man, it's a crapshoot with. I guess they're taking into account how much you average in the regular season in season games as opposed to like the playoff, right? In Vegas.
Not sure. I mean, we
I'd have
don't
to
have any
look at it.
precedent for it. We don't have any precedent for it. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say, hey, they base it off this or that. I was just
I'm trying to use logic that I don't have other than the Celtics have the easiest road.
Why not the Timberwolves at 13-1 or Edwards at 25-1?
It could be. I'm not even really sure who's in their specific, like, in-season division.
Okay.
So, I
It's
just
very
yeah.
convoluted. It
Yeah,
is
that's what I'm saying.
convoluted.
Like, what I am banking on, dude, is, like, maybe don't feel so quick to pull the trigger on, like, an under in an in-season game, because the way that these things end is you need points. Coaches are willing to extend games that they probably wouldn't otherwise extend, right? And so I've gotten dicked on like 3 of these things, taking an under that would have hit if a coach didn't start fouling with 20 seconds left down 9. Like, what are we doing? Why are we sending a team to the line down? You know what I mean? Oh, well, but maybe they miss one and we hit a 3 and we get 2 points back. Fuck me. Like, Missoula's challenging shit down up 30 points
So
because he
that
in
yeah.
an in-season game. You know
So
what I
that
mean?
might be a good live over late, and it might
Right,
be like when
right.
I think, hey, the games matter a little more. Maybe you take the unders. I don't know how much they factor into the lines, but like, hey, just a normal regular season game, they're not going to care too much defensively. Maybe you get 80% effort where it's a playing game. Hey, this game means a little more. Maybe you get a little bit of an inspired effort. So maybe there are some value on the unders there. I don't know if that makes sense. How about your? Oh
It
no,
does. Yeah.
no, I was gonna say that they had the logos wrong. I thought the Knicks were playing. Knicks are off tonight, right?
Yeah, yeah. You might be looking at the Christmas Day game is the next one up usually.
Yep.
I've been doing that against the Bucks.
Yeah, they run them all
The Knicks
together.
last night were done in by losing RJ Barrett right before tip. Really dicked my 9-point dog bet for them. And then yeah, I mean I took them in the first half, which worked out because I was like, they're gonna come to play, but like on a back to back, it might eventually get to them in the third, in the fourth quarter, especially with the C's at home. That's what happened. And but
What
Jay
was the
Randall hit
final
a
of that game?
ladder.
They were getting smoked, right? I saw they lost that game by a lot.
They were within, 5 to 6 points in the fourth quarter, and then at the end, they lost it. They got
What
spanked.
was the final?
They lost by, like, 114 to 98 or something,
Oh, so kind of
but
yep.
like I said, it was within, like, 5 to 6 throughout the game until the middle of the end of fourth quarter. Knicks were winning for a while too at that points, but
25 for Randall.
yeah.
You said he played well or no? Did he have a lot of
Yeah,
shots
yeah.
on his
No, he played like Randall. He did what I was predicting, was, like, starting to shoot more. So that's why I took him at the over 19.5 and the ladder with the 25 for plus 250. Gave that out everywhere, but it's about him playing the Celtics and, like, him scoring more now than he was at the beginning of the season, realizing they need that. Also just being selfish, but
Knicks
that's
5
Randall.
and 6. That surprised me because this is supposed to be a good regular season team. Is this
Um,
cause for concern or they're
tou
fine?
tough schedule start. I mean, they played the
Yeah.
Celtics twice now. That's definitely the best team in the East and the second best team in the league, in my opinion. Um, So that's brutal. They play the Bucks already. Like, say what you want about them. They played the Cavs twice. Like, it hasn't been the easy. They haven't gotten the cupcakes. They've beaten the cupcakes so far. So, like,
Right.
they'll still end as in my opinion, definitely a top 6 seed. They will stay out of they'll stay out of the play-in.
Probably
So
same as last year. Maybe they run around, maybe they don't, but they're not. I don't think they're like a conference finals type of team. I just don't
no,
think that.
no, I thought there might have been a world where their ceiling was a bit higher, like closer to like a 2 or 3 seed, but I think the 76ers are proving that Maxi's is all they need.
Yeah.
And they're going to solidify themselves top 3. And the Bucks, we'll see if they make a run at some point, figure it out. But that defense is poo
Oof.
poo, poo
Has
poo.
Giannis not played well?
He started to play well. The last 3 games, Dame came back last night and he still had like a 38% usage because he was like, screw this. Like, why am I, submitting? So
Right.
Dame had fewer points. They still, they won the game and handled a bad team. But Bulls, they're bad.
Yes, 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 and
There
some of
might be
those
some
guys
fades
will
there.
probably be available.
Yep.
I mean, they've just been in total. They're the worst thing you could be in the NBA is in limbo, where you're not a contender, you're not in the lottery. You just, hey, maybe we
Always.
can make a play, and maybe we can be the 9 seed. It's just
Always.
like, man, just blow it up. Just
I
get rid
did
of
it.
some of these guys.
I
They're
I
disaster.
I I did a podcast last night with a buddy who's a Bulls fan, and we were talking about them in general, and it was like, dude, like, you can't tell me that you really like that Vooch trade. And he's like, well, we didn't have anything. It's like, you still don't have anything. You
Yeah,
raised your ceiling from a 9 seed to an 8 seed. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
stupid.
So,
They had
like,
not been relevant really since Jordan. I guess the Rose year, I think they were a 1 seed, and
they're a
Rose
1
won the
seed, yeah.
MVP.
Yeah, stole it.
Was that what was that 12 11 they were the 1 seed, the Heat beat them, and then the 12 they were the 1 seed, Rose got hurt, and it's just never been the same team. They've had some decent teams, but man, that's one of the great that's one team where the league could really benefit from them being like the Bulls again, because that's a good basketball city, that's a major market like that. The league's kind of better when the Bulls are really good. It's just, man, it's been a long time since they were relevant, and like we're of the age where you grew up and like the Bulls were the team. The Bulls were, the Warriors, the Yankees, the Cowboys, like the Bulls were it. Not only in basketball, the Bulls were the team in all of sports. And now it's just like, man, they're just
True.
a depressing sort of an afterthought here.
Players, you need players, right?
Yes.
Like you need star players, and they haven't even been in a position to draft any in like a decade. And when they did draft him in a decade ago and a decade and a half ago, they wasted him on guys like Tyrus Thomas, who we were talking
That's
about
where
earlier.
I've said this before. That's where Durant should have gone after the Warriors because that Nets thing was
Mm,
weird. You're never going to
That'd
be
have
the
been
big
awesome.
deal. Like either go to the Knicks or go to the Bulls.
Would have been
The
awesome.
Nets was a weird fit.
Would have been
All right.
cool, but yeah, they're minus 320 to not make the playoffs are the Bulls.
Yeah.
There's no value in fading them anymore. So
Yeah. All right.
cool,
Anything
man.
else?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well, good show.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give out a single NBA bet of a player prop. Can I just give those out real quick?
Yeah. Give whatever
If
you
you're
got to do.
interested, Carl Anthony Towns over 8.5 rebounds. And shit, my sheet just closed on me.
While you're doing that, I'll
Yeah,
read.
go ahead.
I think I got Brad Sleeper play too.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Coach,
Thank
I
you.
didn't realize he said it. It was it's mixed sport here. Kucherov in the NHL over 3.5 shots on goal. Forsberg over 3.5 shots on goal. Anthony Edwards over 26.5 points. Gobert over 11.5 rebounds. Halliburton over 10.5 assists. Barkov over 2.5 shots on goal in the NHL. So that is Brad Sleeper play. 1275 pays 290, so 22.7x payout. That is Brad Thomas's sleeper play.
Wow. Play with caution. That's a nice one.
Does the
I'm
Gobert
actually going.
rebounds the Gobert rebounds the one that makes a lot of sense to me, and I like over points for Edwards too. But Gobert going against a smaller team, isn't he? Shouldn't he clean up on the glass?
Do you want to hear my nerd stat real quick? Because
Sure.
I'm going Cat over 8.5 rebounds. Rudy has the most rebound chances in the league, and Cat still has almost as many rebounds as
Wow,
him because Cat is the beneficiary of Rudy's boxing everybody out. So Cat is
makes
eighth in
sense.
rebound percentage, right? Cat is eighth in rebound percentage in the whole league. Rudy is way down there, not even top 20 in rebound percentage, but Rudy has the most rebound chances. Don't tell me that Rudy wouldn't be getting more rebounds if he didn't just go up and grab it as opposed to boxing out two dudes at once, you know?
That's how it
So,
used to be. Who's the big guy on the Pacers? What the hell? Why am I drawing a blank? I'm getting old.
Rick Smits
No,
or Dale Davis or Antonio Davis
No, the more
or Roy
recent
Hibbert.
guy, Hibbert. Yes,
Okay.
Hibbert used to like not get a lot of rebounds, but I know some of the old, like some of the analytics were like,
I have
yeah,
an
but he's
endless vault of Pacers big men.
yes, his team rebounds really well when he's on the court, even if he's not getting the
Yeah.
rebounds for what you said, because like he takes up so much space and he boxes out and
Same with
yeah, yep.
so
All right,
yeah, I like
Josh,
that. Yeah. Cat
good
rebounds.
show.
Yeah. We're good.
All right, man. Tomorrow
Appreciate it.
noon Eastern, we'll be back talking NBA, probably some NFL, a little bit of everything. Appreciate you guys listening. Thank you to Pickett Sleeper. See you guys tomorrow.